Hello everyone and welcome to the next devlog for the interior room generator. This week I've not really been working what I said I was going to work on next week. Instead I've been working kind of around some other things while trying to figure out how I actually want to generate objects on top of other objects kind of thing. So let's go check out what I've done this week. So firstly you'll notice that the objects that we currently have spawning in front of us aren't the same objects that we had last week. I've actually gone through and I've created a couple different lists of objects and hierarchies. So we now have a couple different lists to kind of go through and generate. So this is currently the bathroom. You'll also notice that each object now has this kind of red square around it, and that is to do with the object size, which I'm now declaring inside the prefab itself, so I don't actually have to go through and manually declare the size in the object relationship hierarchy. So each of these red boxes is kind of the bounding box of the object itself. Now, to accommodate the fact that we're going to have different kind of room functions and different objects inside those rooms, I've actually started to save the rooms. So when I do the room detector part of it, it actually exports it into this kind of room data object here. And then inside of here, I can kind of define what objects are spawned in the room. So if I was to change this room here to the bedroom, it's going to start spawning the bedroom objects, as you can see. So that's kind of just really helpful to be able to, well, I don't have to now run the room detector every single time I want to generate objects, but I can also now say that this room here is specifically going to be this function. There's a couple bugs I've noticed so far, especially when you spawn objects inside of a corner here, because of the way they actually detect and figure out which rotation it should be at. Sometimes it just doesn't rotate the correct way, so I need to go and figure out how to fix that. It's probably just going to be a checking of if whether this hit as well as this angle here hit, it means it's in this corner here. I'd also worked on resetting the room itself if I can't actually spawn the objects in the right position. So you can see here how sometimes these will flash, and that's because basically it could actually spawn the objects properly here in this position here, and so it reset the room so they can spawn over here. And there is currently an issue here with like multiple objects spawning. That's to do with the way they spawn with the current routines and they're not properly ending over the rotation, which is something I need to go fix. I've also noticed a couple of times like this here, where the shower is kind of really spawning close to the door, which really shouldn't happen. But technically, in terms of the actual criteria, it is keeping the doorway clear by spawning here. And so what I need to do is actually go through and kind of make sure that these doorways here actually expand a bit bigger than the single wide that they are, just to actually keep this clear. I actually need to work on implementing some kind of like flood fill algorithm to check that actually there is possibly a way to get through to the whole room. So that we never actually like cut off any points. Just because if this bathtub here was just slightly further up, it would block the rest of this room from being accessible, which is not what we want. So that's something I need to work on next week, I think. I just feel like I should probably point out too, the rooms here look a lot better than they do over in the testing rooms over there. Just because these are a lot more smaller compared to the really large rooms I have over there. But they're basically just large here so I can make sure I spawn everything properly and check that everything's working. Whereas over here they kind of spawn in a way that actually makes it look more like a bedroom should be, rather than just making sure that all the objects were spawned properly kind of thing. So I just kind of wanted to point that out too. So looking forward to next week. There's a couple of fixes I want to fix first. So firstly I want to fix some of this stuff here to do with the way that we actually detect some kind of the objects and stuff. So currently Windows is actually this whole panel here is detected as a window, but actually I want to make sure that this center bit here is actually defined as a wall itself. Which should hopefully get some kind of interesting things like a clock maybe in the middle, and that'd be cool. I want to make sure that these doors expand a bit and actually implement a flood fill algorithm so that this doesn't happen inside the rooms. And I also want to fix the duplicating objects when I reset the room. That'd be a really good thing to get done too. Finally, I really need to also start working on actually spawning like the objects on top of tables and stuff like that too. And what I can do is I can also do like a similar kind of method that I've done to actually like generating the rooms. And actually kind of subdividing this object up into like little bits and spawning objects on top of that. Or I could also just prefab it and have different prefab variations of objects already on top of them, and then spawn those different variations of prefabs in the room, which would be a lot less memory usage because it's already done inside the prefab. It doesn't have to actually calculate that space itself, which is something that I might just do just so we can actually get the project done, is to just actually and place all the prefabs on top of the tables and stuff like that, and spawn that rather than actually determining, you know, where to actually place it kind of inside the table. But I would love to get your feedback on whether you guys think that's a good idea or not. But with that, I want to thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you next week.